Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskricha Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. नष्टाप्रायेषु वध्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 4. The Hamsaguhya prayers offered to the Lord by Prajapati Daksha. Sri Rajavacha Devasuranunam Sargo Naganam Mriga Pakshinam Sama Sikastvayam Prokto Yastu Swayam Bhuvo Antare Tasyaiva Vyasam Ichhami Jnatum Te Bhagavan Yata Anusargam Yaya Sakya Sasarga Bhagavan Paraha. The blessed king said to Shukadeva Goswami, my dear Lord, the demigods, demons, human beings, nagas, beasts, and birds were created during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu. You have spoken about this creation before, briefly in the third canto. Now I wish to know about it elaborately. I also wish to know about the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he brought about the secondary creation. Sri Sutavacha iti samsparshnam akarnya rajarcher badarayanihi pratinandya mahayogi jagada muni sattamaha. Suta Goswami said, O great sages assembled at Naimasharanya, after the great yogi Sukadeva Goswami heard King Parikshit's inquiry, he praised it and thus replied, Shri Sukha Uvacha Yada Prachetasah Putra Dasha Prachina Barhishaha Antah Samudrad Unmagna Dadrushur Gama Dumairvritam. Shukadev Goswami said, when the 10 sons of Prachina Barhi emerged from the waters in which they were performing austerities, they saw that the entire surface of the world was covered by trees. Drumebhya क्रुध्यमानस्ते तपोदीपित मन्यवः मुखतो वायुः अग्निं च ससर्जुस्तद्दिधक्षया. Because of having undergone long austerities in the water, the Prachetas were very angry at the trees. Desiring to burn them to ashes, they generated wind and fire from their mouths. ताभ्यां निर्दह्यमानां स्तान् उपलभ्य कुरुध्ववः राजोवाच महान् सोमो मन्युं प्रसम्मयन् इव. My dear King Parikshit, when Soma, the king of the trees and predominating deity of the moon, saw the fire and wind burning all the trees to ashes, he felt great sympathy because he is the maintainer of all herbs and trees. To appease the anger of the Prachetas, Soma spoke as follows. Na drumebhyo mahabhaga dinebhyo drogdhum arhata vivardhayishyavo yuyam prajanam patayah smritaha. O greatly fortunate ones, you should not kill these poor trees by burning them to ashes. Your duty is to wish the citizens Prajas all prosperity and to act as their protector. Aho Prajapati Patir Bhagavan Harir Avyayah Vanaspatin Oshadhinscha Sasarjorjam Isham Vibhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Hari is the master of all living entities, including all the Prajapatis such as Lord Brahma. Because he is the all Pervading an indestructible master, he has created all these trees and vegetables as eatables for other living entities. Annam charachan, sorry, Annam charanam achara hyapadya pada charinam ahasta hasta yuktanam dvipadam cha chatuspadaha. By nature's arrangement, fruits and flowers are considered the food of insects and birds. Grass and other legless living entities are meant to be the food of four-legged animals like cows and buffaloes. Animals that cannot use their front legs as hands are meant to be the food of animals like tigers, which have claws, and four-legged animals like deer and goat, as well as food grains, are meant to be the food of human beings. यूयं च पित्रान् वादिष्टा देवदेवेन चानगाः प्रजासर्गाय हि कथं वृक्षां निर्दग्धुम् अर्हता. O pure-hearted ones, your father Prachinabarhi and the Supreme Personality of Godhead have ordered you to generate population. Therefore, how can you burn to ashes these trees and herbs which are needed for the maintenance of your subjects and descendants? आतिष्ठत सतामार्गं कोपं यच्छत दीपितं पित्रा पितामहेनापि जुष्टं वा प्रपितामहैः. The path of goodness traversed by your father, grandfather, and great grandfathers is that of maintaining the subjects, praja, including the men, animal, and trees. That is the path you should follow. Unnecessary anger is contrary to your duty. Therefore, I request you to control your anger. Tokanam pitaro bandhu दृशा पक्ष्मा स्त्रिया पतिः पतिः प्रजानां भिक्षूणां गृह्णी अज्ञानां बुधः सुहृत्. As the father and mother are the friends and maintainers of their children, as the eyelid is the protector of eye, as the husband is the maintainer and protector of a woman, as the householder is the maintainer and protector of beggars, and as the learned is the friend of ignorant, so the king is protector and giver of life to all his subjects. The trees are also subjects of the king, therefore they should be given protection. अन्तर्देहेषु भूतानाम् आत्मास्ते हरिरीश्वरः सर्वं तद् दिष्ण्यम् ईक्षध्वम् एवं वत्तोषितो हि असौ. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated as Super Soul within the core of the hearts of all living entities, whether moving or non-moving, including men, birds, animals, trees, and indeed all living entities. Therefore, you should consider every body a residence or temple of the Lord. By such vision, you will satisfy the Lord. You should not angrily kill these living entities in the form of trees. Ya samutpattitam deha akashan manyum ulbanam atmajijñāsaya yachet sagunan ativartate. One who inquires into self-realization and thus subdues his powerful anger, which awakens suddenly in the body as if falling from the sky, transcends the influence of the modes of material nature. Alam dagdhair drumair deenaihi किलानां शिवम् अस्तु वः वार्क्षि य एष वराकन्या पत्नीत्वे प्रतिगृह्यताम्. There is no need to burn these poor trees any longer. Let whatever trees still remain be happy. Indeed, you should also be happy. Now here is a beautiful, well-qualified girl named Marisha, who was raised by the trees as their daughters. You may accept this beautiful girl as your wife. इत्यामन्त्र्य वरारोहां कन्याम् अप्सरसीं नृपा सोमो राजययौ दत्त्वा ते धर्मेणोपयेमिराय मेरे. Shukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, after thus pacifying the Prachetas, Soma, the king of moon, gave them the beautiful girl born of Pramlocha Apsara. The Prachetas all received Pramlocha's daughter, who had high, very beautiful hips, and married her according to the religious system. तेभ्यस्तस्यां समभवद् दक्ष प्राचेतसः किल यस्य प्रजा विसर्गेण लोका आपूरिता त्रयः. In the womb of that girl, the Prachetas all begot a son named Daksha, who filled the three worlds with living entities. Yata sasarja bhutani daksho duhitra vatsalah retasa manasa chaiva tan mama vahita shruno. Shukadeva Goswami continued, please hear from me with great attention how Prajapati Daksha, who was very affectionate to his daughters, created different types of living entities through his semen and through his mind. मनसैवासृज पूर्वं प्रजापतिरिमां प्रजा देवासुरमन्युष्यादीन् नभस्तल जलौकसः. With his mind, Prajapati Daksha first created all kinds of demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, aquatics, and so on. Tam abhrihitam alokya प्रजासर्गं प्रजापतिः विन्ध्यापादान् उपाव्रज सोचरद् दुष्करं तपः. But when Prajapati Daksha saw that he was not properly generating all kinds of living entities, he approached a mountain near the Vindhya mountain range, and there he executed very difficult austerity. तत्राघमर्षणं नाम तीर्थं पापहरं परम् उपस्पृश्यानुसवनं तपसातोषयद्धरिम्. Near that mountain was a very holy place named Aghamarshana. There Prajapati Daksha executed ritualistic ceremonies and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari by engaging in great austerities to please him. अष्टौषीद् दंसा गुह्येन भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजं तुभ्यं तद् अभिदास्यामि कस्यातुष्यद् यथा हरिः. My dear king, I shall fully explain to you the Hamsa Guhya prayers which were offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Daksha, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for those prayers. Hare Krishna. From verse 23, we continue tomorrow. We will take a quick look into the. So we have come, of course, the sixth canto starts with the glorification of the holy name, where Ajamil is delivered successfully. And then we come to the fourth chapter, which is full of wonderful prayers. Yeah, in fact, there is this Daksha Prajapati. We can also see how is he born. Yeah, and after Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, my dear Lord, the demigods, demons, all this creation you have already told briefly in third canto. I would like to hear more elaborately. Especially, of course, it's clear that Lord is the supreme and He created everything. But I want to know how the secondary creation took place. Sarga, Visarga. Sarga is already explained. I want to know more about Visarga. And Suta Goswami says, then Parikshit Maharaj is narrating. In fact, if you recollect, yeah, we were discussing in the fifth canto. Anyone, if you remember, there is this Prachina Barhi. Yeah, he's the king. Narada Muni comes and he starts telling about the story of what is that? Um, uh, Body of nine gates, temple of nine gates. Yeah, so where there is this Puranjana. There is the story of Puranjana, and finally, Prachina Barya understands that life is not just only for enjoyment. Yes, it's more than that, or actually, enjoyment comes when we do properly our mm, duty as a devotee. So, yeah, after that, then we went through the other part, and now Shukadeva Goswami once again comes back and explains what happened. Yeah, if you remember, there was this Rudra Gita where Lord Shiva comes and he blesses the Prachetas, the 10 Prachetas. He says prayers that he recites to Lord Vishnu and attains bliss, and he advises them also go enter into the waters, do the tapasya. And here what happened after when the ten sons of Prachinabari emerged from the waters in which they were performing austerities, they saw the entire surface of the world was covered with trees. So we know that the king Prachinabari was performing Vedic rituals in which killing of animals was recommended, but Narad Muni came and he stopped him. And now what happened is when the Prachetas came out of the water, they saw the earth was overrun with trees. Overrun means, yeah, as if like nothing could be seen. In Purport, Prabhupada mentions when the government neglects agriculture, which is necessary for the production of food, the land becomes covered with unnecessary trees. Of course, many trees are useful because they produce fruits and flowers, but many other trees are unnecessary. They could be used as fuel and land cleared and used for agriculture. When the government is negligent, less grain is produced. So the duty of Kshatriya or the government and is to see that the members of the third class, Vaishyas, who are neither Brahmanas nor Kshatriyas, are thus properly engaged. So anyway, Prachetas were very angry and they desiring to burn the trees to ashes. They generated wind and fire from their mouth. Um, and in this regard, mm, mm, Prabhupada writes in the purport that um, uh, although devotees undergo severe tapasya, however, they are vimanyava sadhava, which means that they are never angry. They are always decorated with good qualities. Sadhu means a devotee is never angry. Actually, the real feature of devotees who undergo tapasya is forgiveness. Although a Vaishnava has sufficient power in tapasya, he does not become angry. And in this regard, Prabhupada explains further that one should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind and thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree devoid of all sense of false pride, and one should be ready to offer all respects to others. So, those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord should be humbler than grass and more tolerant than a tree. Then they can preach the glories of the Lord without difficulty. Hmm. And here, in this case, what happened? Uh, it is understood from this verse number 6 that the predominating deity of moon is the maintainer of all the trees and plants. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Somo vrikshadisthata sa eva vrikshanam raja. Soma, the predominating deity of the moon, is the king of all vegetation. How can we believe that the maintainer of vegetation has no vegetation on his own planet? What is this means? People say that in the moon there is no vegetation, no trees, nothing. Lord who is maintaining everything, why doesn't he has that? So moon should have. We didn't find it. And then um so the hmm, yeah, Soma, he comes and he says, don't kill poor trees by burning them to ashes. So, and then he advised, Aho Prajapatir Bhagavan Harir Avyayah. So, Soma is the predominating deity of moon, reminded that Prachetas that this vegetation had been created by the Lord of Lords to provide food for everyone. So, the purpose of trees is for food, vegetation. By nature's arrangement, then he explains that who eats food, that this whole food cycle, yeah. And generally, the men of higher classes of society, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, do not eat meat. Sometimes Kshatriyas go to the forest to kill animals like deer because they have to learn the art of killing, and sometimes they eat the animals also. Shudra to eat in animals such as goats. Cows, however, are never meant to be killed or eaten by human beings. In every Shastra, cow killing is vehemently condemned. Indeed, one who kills a cow must suffer for as many years as there are hairs on the body of a cow. This is what is mentioned in the Manu Samhita. Huh? Pravrittir esha bhutanam nivrittistu mahabhala. We have many tendencies in this material world, but in human life, one is meant to learn how to curb those tendencies. Those who desire to eat meat may satisfy the demand of their tongues by eating lower animals, but they should never kill cows, who are actually accepted as the mother of the society, of the human society, because they supply milk. Krishi, Krishi Goraksha, Vaishyas are a section of humanity should arrange for food of the entire society through agricultural activities and should give full protection of cows. Rather, yeah, out of business mentality, one is just exploiting the food market. No, food has become a market, food has become a business. Yeah, sometimes there is mafia where excess food grains are stored in godowns and hidden, and people are supplied very third class quality rice or grains, and so that they can, yeah, it's all about marketing. Yeah, they sell when the demand is high. They create the demand and then they can exploit. यूयं च पित्रावादिष्टा देवदेवेन चानुगा प्रजा सर्गाय हि कथं वृक्षां निर्दग्धुम् अर्हता. So finally he said, don't, therefore, how can you burn these to ashes? Because they are the food suppliers for the mankind. And then he says, Tokanam pitaro bandhu drisha paksha striya patih prajanam vikshushanam grihi ajnanam buddha suhut. As the father and mother are the friends and maintainers of their children, as the eyelid is the protection of the eye, as the husband is the maintainer or protector of a woman, as the householder is the maintainer of beggars, and as the learned is the friend of the ignorant, so the king is the protector and giver of life to all his subjects. So, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions the king is also responsible for overseeing the other protectors mentioned in this verse. It may also be noted that the beggars who should be maintained by the householder are not professional beggars. Not beggars means here we say, oh, so yeah. Here we meant beggars means sannyasis and brahmacharis or brahmanas, to whom the householders should supply food and clothing. So finally, he said, you should not angrily kill these living beings, living entities in the form of trees. One who inquires into self-realization and thus subdues his powerful anger, which awakens suddenly in the body as if falling from the sky, transcends the influence of modes of material nature. Hmm. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevataye sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One must perform devotional service because otherwise one will become victimized by the modes of material nature. Hmm. And then, and after that, there is no need to burn these poor trees any longer. And then they offered him, okay, even you should be happy. I'll make you happy. And Soma has given a beautiful girl to all the 4 brothers, sorry, 10 brothers. You may accept this beautiful girl as your wife. Hmm. And who was she? She was the daughter of Pramlocha Apsara. The Prachayatas also received Pramlocha's daughter, who had high, very beautiful lips, and married her according to the religious system. And in the womb of Pramlocha's daughter, hmm, or Pracheta's wife, Daksha is born. Hmm. So, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions this Daksha which we are talking was first born during the reign of Swayambhava Manu. But because of offending Lord Shiva, he was punished by having the head of a goat substituted for his own head. Thus insulted, he had to give up that body, and in the 6th Manvantara, in Chakshusha Manvantara, he was born of the womb of Marisha as Daksha. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes this verse. चाक्षुषे त्व अंतरे प्राप्ते प्राक् सर्गे काल विद्रुते यः ससर्ग प्रजा इष्ठान् स दक्षो दैव चोदितः. So acharyas are our saving grace. Otherwise, we just get confused. How is that? Yeah, Daksha is happened, finished, and now again, how is he coming? Is he same Daksha? It is said his previous body has been destroyed, but he, the same Daksha, inspired by the Supreme Will, created all the desired living entities in Chakshusha Manvantara. Thus, Daksha regained his previous opulence and again begot thousands and millions of children to fill the three worlds. यथा ससर्ग भूतानि दक्ष हृत वत्सलः रेतसा मनसा chaiva. So through semen and through mind, he populated the whole, created different types of living entities. Hmm. The word Duhitra Vatsala indicates that all the prajas were born from Daksha's daughters. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur says that apparently Daksha had no son. In this regard, I mean, in the purport it's not mentioned. In this regard, it's very important to know that son in Sanskrit is called as putra. Put means sin. Putra means one who delivers or liberates from sin. Putra is one who delivers. And to beget a son is needs a lot of piety, lot of sukruti. So yeah, in this case we can see Daksha didn't had. That's why he had all the daughters and then he had no sons. This is what Acharya is here mentioning. And Prajapati Daksha, with his mind, Prajapati first created all kinds of demigods, demons, human beings, birds, beasts, aquatics, and so on. When Prajapati Daksha saw that he was not properly generating all kinds of living entities, he went to Vindhya Parvat and he did a tapasya. Near that mountain, there is a place called Aghamarshana. There, Prajapati Daksha executed ritualistic ceremonies and satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, by engaging in great austerities to please him. And then he said, Ashtaushit, sorry, Ashtausit, Ashtaushit Damsa Guhyena Bhagavantam Adhokshajam Tubhyam Tat Abhidasyami Kasyatusyad Yatha Harihi. I mean, this is what, my dear king, I shall fully explain to you the Hamsaguhya prayers which were offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Daksha, and I shall explain how the Lord was pleased with him for these prayers, those prayers. Purport. It is to be understood that Hamsaguhya prayers were not composed by Daksha, but were existing in the Vedic literature before. It is only that it is there which Daksha took opportunity to pray to Lord using these prayers. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Where is that? Did I close window? Yeah. Thank you very much. So we will go through these prayers tomorrow and the next week. Until then, yeah, yeah. Keep some of the key points here about the anger. Yeah, is something that in spite of Prachetas were blessed by Lord Shiva who directed what tapasya should be done. But he came and then they were disturbed. Yeah. And in our life, we may also have many disturbances, and how to solve those disturbances is by reciting prayers. Because prayers are means to meditate on the spirit of taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyashcha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर